What's going on, guys? It's me, TXC Bands, and I'm back with another One Piece video. This is a review of chapter 1086 of One Piece. The title is The Five Elder Planets. So, yep, the Gorosei are prevalent in the chapter. There are different interpretations of how to translate the chapter title. It's either like the Five Elder Stars, or the Five Elder Planets, or the Five Elders. But I'll just be referring to them as the Gorosei because it's so much easier. But the chapter doesn't only talk about the Gorosei. It covers Vivi and Wapple's escape. We get more Leloucia Kingdom stuff. We get the rest of the Seraphim revealed. We get Dragon and Ivankov's reactions to Sabu's story. And we even get a Holy Knight reveal at the end. There's nothing else to say, so let's get into the chapter. But don't forget to like and subscribe because it'll really help. So on the website that I use, they have two cover pages. One was the weekly Jump cover because One Piece was featured on it this week, and the other was the real cover of the chapter. The weekly Jump cover has Luffy, Garp, and Kobe. The two others, Garp and Kobe, are probably there because they're the most important people to Luffy besides the Straw Hats that are alive. And then the other cover, like the actual chapter cover, shows a nice color spread. It shows Chopper looking into a rainbow in a pond, and all the other Straw Hats are messing around nearby too, except Zoro and Jinbei aren't there because I guess they have no time for fun. We start the actual chapter by panning out from the castle to see what's happening everywhere else. And all of Alabasta's guards who are guarding Cobra are desperately trying to find Vivi and Cobra. One of them is holding a sign, one of them is attacking a guard, and one of them, who we know, Pell, is just looking around. And little do they know that Cobra is dead and Vivi is off with Wapple. So we cut to them now, and they're on a ship heading to the Aegis Kingdom. Wapple, who already has relations with Morgans, I guess, tells him of their location so that he could come pick them up. Morgans obviously does not care about their safety. He just knows he could get a good story from them that he could spread in the news. And then back in town, we see Cypher Pole members who are holding up signs looking for some other people. They're looking for Sabo and they're looking for Bonnie. One of these Cypher Pole members who's looking for them is Spandam, actually. But Bonnie, she's going off to the Tajin Kingdom, which is probably nearby Egghead because that's where she ends up. And Sabo is going to the Lucia Kingdom, of course. Sabo is like almost dying in the ship, but he fights on because of what Cobra wished him to do and to live for. Cut to a little bit after, a little in the future, after the Reverie, when the stories of Cobra's death and Vivi's disappearance are already like public knowledge. And in the Gorosei's Room of Authority, they talk about Sabo and how he coincidentally is around a bunch of members of the D clan. But then they get a call from Emu. Emu is telling them that it's time to test Vegapunk's invention, the Mother Flame, which is what's responsible for destroying Leloucia. And I think the Mother Flame isn't actually the weapon itself, but the Mother Flame might be the power source because Vegapunk doesn't like designing weapons. That's one thing about him that we learned recently. The Gorosei are thinking about where to test it, But Emu just interrupts and says they're going to test it on Lelucia. We get all the Gorosei's names now, which is a big reveal. And so I'll list them. There's Defense Science Warrior God St. J. Garcia Saturn, who we already knew. Environmental Warrior God St. Marcus Mars, who's the one who looks like the one guy from Skypiea. Justice Warrior God Top Man Valkyrie, who's the one who looks like Gorbachev with the birthmark on his head. And Finance Warrior God Ethan Baron V. Nesjuro, who's the one who looks like a Gandhi with a sword. And there's Agriculture Warrior God Shepherd Jupiter, the one who is the youngest of the Gorosei, the one with blonde hair. One thing I took from this is that V. Nesjuro is from Wano, maybe, because Juro is a popular name that a lot of people in Wano had. But out of all the 5 names, they all have to do with planets, of course. We get Saturn, Mars. We get Mercury from Valkyrie. I don't know how it really works, but it's there somehow. We get Venus and we get Jupiter. And then Emu's final order is, after dropping the laser on the Lucia Kingdom, is to find Vivi. Now we shortly cut to the Marine headquarters, where Akainu is giving the order to deploy the 3 Seraphim to find Vivi. We already had Mihawk, Boa, Kuma, and Jinbei Seraphim, but now we get Doflamingo, Moria, and Crocodile. And they look like they're ready to cause trouble like all the other Seraphim, especially Doflamingo. And then we go to the Kamabaka Kingdom, where all the revolutionaries are stationed. If you remember, Sabo was telling the story to Dragon and Ivankov, so we get their reactions. Sabo tells them that the mistake of him becoming the Flame Emperor after killing Cobra was actually a blessing in disguise, because it stirred up rebellion in a bunch of places. And Dragon, he seems scared that the government could possess technology that could destroy a whole island. And Ivankov, who probably read a lot about the past, notices that there was a monarch in the past named Saint Emu House Nerona. So we get Emu's house name, because we learned last chapter that Emu was actually part of the 20 monarchs, and now we even get the name of the house. Ivankov theorizes that Emu lived so long due to the Ope Ope no Mi, which is a law's fruit, but that's just a theory. There's no certainty of how Emu lived so long, or even if Emu did live long, or if it's just an imposter. But back to the weapon, Ivankov says that the only one who is able to create such a weapon would be Vegapunk. But Dragon brings up that Vegapunk is a good guy, and he would never create a mass destruction weapon like that. So that strengthens my theory that Vegapunk made the Mother Flame, which was the fuel source, but the actual weapon was still probably an ancient weapon, Uranus. Now, onto the last page, we go back to present-day Mary Joie, and unfortunately, Mjosgard has been sentenced to death. The executioner is none other than the commander of the Holy Knights, Garling Figarland. So Figarland is related to Shanks, which we learned from Film Red. Garling Figarland might even be Shanks' father. But he was actually the king of God Valley, and we also know that Shanks was found at God Valley, so that might even further prove that he's very closely related to Shanks. He has like a strange look. His hair and his beard are forming a crescent. But the crescent moon obviously adds to the stars and planets references that the celestial dragons have. But he kills Mosgard, and he ends up calling him scum. And that's the end of the chapter. It was a crazy chapter again this week, but it had a lot of important information. But unfortunately, Oda Sensei will be going on break, a long break. He is having eye surgery, so be patient because this is a good thing. It's a great thing for his health because he'll be able to continue making One Piece and making One Piece better. Maybe even there'll be less breaks in the future because he'll be at full health. But I'll let him take as much time as he needs. He says that it'll be 4 or 5 weeks until the next chapter. So yeah, be patient. And rip to Mjosgard, and also rip to Lucia Kingdom since we saw their death again. And like and subscribe if you made it all the way to the end of the video. And hopefully I'll see you in the next video. Bye.